somehow you just get the feeling it isn't quite over with these two just yet.
I think many of our games were hard, but this one might have been the hardest maybe because of the amount of quality players they have and also the structure they play in.
Arne Slot admitting it was the toughest game of the season so far.
We play a very good game, come here in this stadium and dominate the game for most part of the game, control the game. Has been a good performance.
Maresca admitting they deserved more than the results showed. And with the trajectory both teams have followed ever since, there seems to be a whole load of reasons why both managers have to fear each other. The 2024-25 Liverpool, they need no introduction anymore. Some of the football they've been playing this season has been incredible. Slot's Liverpool team has been on a steady level since the first game of the season versus Ipswich. And while others around them have struggled at times, they've been rock solid. The talk about Liverpool settling in with Arne Slot is long gone. Right now the Reds are in dreamland, top of the Premier League, top of the Champions League. Mohamed Salah's in incredible form. Players like Gravenberch, Luis Diaz and Cody Gakpo have all stepped up. I mean, it couldn't be any better for Liverpool at the moment. They're flying.
If you can achieve something that hasn't been achieved before, that's almost impossible at a big club like this. And to achieve it is always nice.
You listen to Arne Slot speak and you know what he's about. Slot and his team are simply down to winning games and doing it in his controlled style. But this video isn't about Slot alone, because while his Liverpool team might have been grabbing the headlines for the performances so far this season, over in West London, Maresca's Chelsea team has been impressing from the shadows.
I mean, I know the end of last season, Chelsea was all over the place and everyone's moving in different directions. And just watching the game yesterday, they attack, press together, defend together. It looks like a whole new team and everybody's just super confident, you can see it.
Yeah, it really does look like a whole new team. The Blues have been quietly impressing so far in the Premier League and all competitions as well. You'd have to go back to the 30th of October for the last time Chelsea lost a game in any competition. In the league, they'd have just 2 defeats all season to Manchester City and Liverpool. This alone is impressive. But considering what Chelsea was before Maresca arrived, it gets even better.
To say that quickly because people are going to be, oh, you know what happened? No, but just what Zach said, everybody's running back.
Couldn't sum up Chelsea in a better form than this than the previous seasons. There was a team and an idea, but it wasn't working. They were shipping in goals, not scoring enough, dropping points too. Managerial changes played a part, while Liverpool kept Jurgen Klopp for years before changing to Arne Slot. In Chelsea's case, post-2021, they went through Thomas Tuchel, Graham Potter, Frank Lampard, Mauricio Pochettino. If you add in Bruno Salter to the list, that's 5 managers before Enzo Maresca was even appointed. You probably get the idea by now. Chelsea was in an unstable state before Maresca arrived, and right now, what he's brought to the club and the team is stability. What they now have is a stable team, and that's because Maresca has identified the right players for his team and the right tactics to make sure they're always at the top of their game. The players know if they don't train, they won't play. It's that simple. Right, so now we know what the two of them are and how they've gotten to this point. Let's look at how they play. Arne Slot is a very interesting mix that's adding up for Liverpool. It's like watching the high-intensity football we saw for years with Klopp. High pressing, winning the ball back and taking risks. But the biggest difference here is that Slot and his team want to control the game. By this, it means everything they do is with a system. When they press now, they don't go all out. It's a coordinated press to win the ball, the same way they are defensively. They don't get caught out as much as they were before, and that's because, under Slot, they bank up well to cover spaces and restrict the opposition's movement. You could term Liverpool this season as a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. But in either shape, it's about having a reliable base through which they can build. Alexis McAllister and Ryan Gravenberch at the base provide that stability by winning tackles and advancing play. And in attack, that front three is as potent as ever, whatever combo the team goes with. Mohamed Salah, Darwin Núñez, Luis Diaz, Cody Gakpo, Diogo Jota. Whatever option in attack, it works. The controlled shape of the team now is yielding results. I don't think even Arne Slot would have predicted this Liverpool team being top of the Premier League and Champions League at this stage of the season, but that's where they are now. On Chelsea's part, Enzo Maresca has done an incredible job of making the most of what he's got. Quite literally, they've got a lot, but Maresca already knows what his options are.
Because I'm working with 21, 22 players in the last, since we are back from USA.
Maresca stated here that he's only working with 21 or 22 players. And for context, the Chelsea team at the start of pre-season, including first-team players who'd come back from loan spells, was around 43 players.
It was very difficult last season because there was lots of change, Some players probably didn't want to be there because they wasn't playing and stuff, so it was difficult. But no, we're on to a new page and we're looking forward this season.
This was the major issue for Chelsea last season, the fact they lacked a proper identity. Too many players and injuries played a part, as Reece James stated. They even had players who didn't want to play for the team. But with Maresca at the helm now, all of that looks different. They look solid. It should come as no surprise the way they've been blowing teams away in the Europa Conference League, given the quality of opposition they're facing in there. But when you narrow it down to the Premier League, they've been equally as impressive. In his 4-2-3-1 shape, Maresca seems to be getting the best out of his players. We'll get to the individual improvements and standouts later on, but as a team, Chelsea, just like Liverpool, has incorporated the high press to effect. Winning the ball back is key, having the base in midfield as well. Just like Liverpool using two players at the base, who for large parts of the season have been Moisés Caicedo and Romeo Lavia, having a dynamic front three just behind the central striker in Nicholas Jackson. They're linking up well and getting results. Right, we know the tactics now, the backgrounds and formations. When we narrow this down to a Liverpool perspective, why should Arne Slot fear Enzo Maresca? Well, for starters, this Chelsea team is very much similar to how Liverpool set up. Both teams make proper use of that 4-2-3-1 system, 2 at the base, a 10 behind the striker, wingers who offer real threats and also have the defensive awareness to track back. And that's why that game between the two at Anfield early on in the season was down to the wire, because it then became a case of who could find the edge tactically. They were on the same par. Due to the personnel they've got, Liverpool looks better in terms of defensive abilities, but it doesn't mean Chelsea is far behind. Liverpool has only conceded 11 goals this season. Before all the talk about Chelsea's defensive errors, Robert Sanchez's mistakes as a goalie, all of that stuff, they've only conceded 15. See guys, the difference is in terms of numbers and output, well, it isn't that far-fetched. Going back to the tactics again, we understand that Liverpool wants to control the game. But the thing here is, Chelsea want to do the same too, and you'll find out how soon enough. But first, just in case you haven't subscribed to Football Historia yet, all you've got to do is hit that button down below. It's that easy. See guys, just like Liverpool, Chelsea under Enzo Maresca has become possession-based, and if anything, they seem to know how to do it better. They bully that Liverpool midfield at Anfield. Due to the physicality of players like Caicedo and Lavia, Liverpool struggled to match up and as a result lost on the possession count. In this merit, Liverpool ranks third in the league in terms of possession with 57.14% compared to the opposition's 42.86% when they have to face them. And the team in fourth, while Chelsea have 56.29% to the opposition's 43.71%. Once again, they're not far behind. It's very close. The thing is with Chelsea, it's not about direct control. As soon as they get the ball, the idea is to attack. While they want to force the issue against teams that sit back, they're also patient enough to wait for the opening if they have to, so they don't leave out any spaces on the counter. Game by game, Maresca's Chelsea team has been taking to the manager's tactics and they're delivering results. As I said earlier, it'll be impossible to talk about these two without highlighting the individual performances of certain players under them. And in this regard, Slot knows he has to be careful with what Maresca is building. On Liverpool's part, the Egyptian king has been in sensational form. The goal against Newcastle at St James's Park means Salah has now become the outright player to provide a goal and assist in the same game in the Premier League, doing it 37 times to beat Wayne Rooney's 36. This is just one of the numerous records Salah holds, and I can't believe I'm saying this given everything he's achieved. But under Slot, Salah has got even better. He's now become more than a goal scorer and has evolved into a guy who starts moves and finishes them off, or provides that key pass if he has to. He looks fitter, sharper, and is tracking back. He's a cheat code down that right flank for the Reds. But over at Chelsea, they've got a player who has been equally as impressive and been the key man at the club and carried that form into the new season, Cole Palmer. Or as Noni Madueke puts it,
ice cold finish from him, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's why they call him Cold Palmer, innit?
Cold Palmer. Thanks for the heads up. Ever since he came to the club in the summer window of 2023, Palmer has quickly become the main guy at Chelsea, and that's saying something. Under Enzo Maresca, his incredible form this season has continued. He's got 9 goals and 6 assists in 14 matches this season for Chelsea. That's more goal contributions than games played, including 4 against Brighton. When he gets going, the guy is unstoppable. Just like Salah, Palmer has become the main attacking force for Chelsea in that central position. Everything goes through him, from final passes to finishing moves, and even dead balls too. I could go on and on talking about how important Palmer is to this Chelsea team, the same way I could for Salah, but what has to be the most impressive thing about Enzo Maresca first, and Arne Slot, is how this string of improvements has carried on into other members of the team. There was so much talk about Chelsea getting a replacement in the summer for him. The likes of Victor Osimhen and even Dusan Vlahovic were heavily linked to the club, but this season under Enzo Maresca, Nicholas Jackson is looking the part and playing it too. 8 goals and 3 assists in 13 Premier League games. Jackson looks more composed in front of goal now. He's got a shot conversion rate of 30.77%, which ranks him in the 92nd percentile in the league for that category this season. Away from the goals to the base of midfield, it's 2 players who didn't really make the cut last year. Moisés Caicedo's 2024-25 season under Maresca is proving to be worth every penny. In the 2-1 win versus Newcastle United, for example, Caicedo became the first Chelsea player to record 7 or more interceptions in a league game for Chelsea since N'Golo Kante 6 years back. To be even mentioned in this category with Kante is impressive enough. The whole price tag issue that surrounded him last summer seems to have died down. Now Caicedo's become so important to this team that he's even captained the Blues on occasions this season. From Caicedo to players like Marc Cucurella and Romeo Lavia, all these guys who had questionable performances last season have now become regular mainstays in that Chelsea team. Maresca has improved their game and has now made them become a part of something special that's building at the club. Ever since the takeover in 2022, it seems like Chelsea lacked any sort of stability. A lot of young players came in, a whole lot of young players actually. Established regulars went out, the memes were on non-stop, and the change in managers too. But right now, they've gotten to a place where they have the team they want, and with Maresca, have identified a coach who can get the best out of these players and make them perform. Take for instance Noni Madueke, man of the match against Southampton, hat-trick against Wolves, and yet his manager still demands more from him.
With the Noni, I have a personal relation in terms of he can do much more. He can do much more. And in the moment that he starts to score or assist and he's happy, he starts to drop a little bit. And the reason why he was not playing, because I don't like the way he trains. And he has to understand that he has to train every day good.
That's what Maresca is about, getting his players to perform at the highest level week in and week out. But this still isn't the biggest reason why Arne Slot has to fear the man. And for this one, Maresca himself dropped the Y a few weeks back.
Because of the age and because how good is the squad, for me Chelsea in the next 5-10 years will be one of the team or the team that is going to dominate English football.
Nothing but truth. See guys, this Chelsea team could be very well set to dominate in the years to come, and you wouldn't put it past them. Look at Arne Slot's Liverpool team. Players like Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk, key players I should add, are 32 and 33 respectively. The likes of Alisson Becker and Andy Robertson are all in their 30s. Flip the page to the Chelsea section, however, and they're a proper team in the making. While Liverpool has an average age of 26.4, Chelsea's total of 23.9 ranks them top of the table with the youngest age average in the league. This has to sink in for a reason. They're second in the table. To be forming the way they have, with a team that's still relatively as young, now that's special and it's a sign of things to come. Just going back to what Maresca said, and you honestly wouldn't put it past them. In 5 years, while Liverpool would be without the likes of Van Dijk and Salah, Chelsea's current stars, Cole Palmer, Noni Madueke, Caicedo and Nicholas Jackson, all these guys would just be approaching their late 20s and in the supposed prime of their careers. Even at the moment, Arne Slot must know this Chelsea team and the manager they've got, they're dangerous opposition. They must be feared. Liverpool might be the leading team to win the league now, but if it was to be a title race, which it is, in terms of the team behind them, when Slot and his side look over their shoulders, the first name they see there is Maresca and his Chelsea team. The Blues are cooking something special, as they have been all season actually. All thanks to Maresca's secret game plan that's scary for opposition teams. Want to find out what it is? It's on the next video.